Okay, so welcome to Straight Talk, the #1 YouTube channel for any business owner that wants to secure and grow a more profitable business. I know that sounds a little silly because everybody wants to grow, but we want you to grow and maximize profit. Sometimes not in that order, by the way. All right, I'm Lou Mosca, Chief Operating Officer of American Management Services, located here in beautiful sunny Orlando, Florida. And today, as we were recently, I'm joined luckily by my brother in person, Christopher, Director of Survey. Chris, how long have you been with us, American Management now?
1,050 years.
So if I'm here 22 plus
Three.
years, you're like 21 plus years?
You're missing years, but
Am I missing years?
close enough.
It might be. I don't know. Becomes a blur, after a while. So last week, bro, you spoke about closed loop management, right?
Yep.
Okay, what do you want to chat with people about today?
Well, we discussed the 6 key components in every business, which we broke down into 2 categories: the strategic resources in the business and the tactical resources in the business. This week, it's going to be important for us to go over what owners should use their strategic resources for, and those are people, assets, and the management methods to hold those people and assets accountable.
So, Chris, you travel all over the place. I'm pretty much here in Orlando all the time. You meet with a lot of American management clients. Give me, if you can, give me an example of a problem that strategic resources will help solve for a business owner.
Okay, so again, to keep this simple and common sense, because that's what seems to work in my mind. Again, every company has these moving parts in the strategic resources. Again, the things that cost people money every day are people or assets and the ability to manage those people and assets. So everybody we meet
That's
talks,
any business, right?
Sure. So you're going to talk about a problem. Everyone we meet talks about people that work for them. They either love them or they hate them. They either need more or they have too many. They have people too long, they didn't stay there long enough. But we just look
We had
at
that guy in Chicago recently that was doing about $3.5 million, and he just hated his employees, and they hated working there. So that's a strategic problem, costing you a lot of money.
Sure, and the problem that in that specific business, what a lot of owners face, is that there was no defined non-negotiable standards of performance. So from the owner's perspective, every employee should have known what they were supposed to do. From the employer's perspectives, no matter what they did, it wasn't right in the owner's eyes. So defining those non-negotiable, minimal, acceptable standards of performance for every person in that company.
Those are big words,
Yeah, but make it simple. What's the least I should expect from somebody that I'm paying?
for an 8-hour day.
Right, and in that unit of measure, hour, day, week, time, whatever it is, if they deliver that minimal standard, it should do 2 things. It should make sure that we meet our clients' deliverables and we hit our profit plan. If we define those things, we can straighten out normally 8 out of 10 people and get them to dance to the dollar that you pay them for.
Well, most people that we encounter want to be a part of creating something good.
Yeah, and frankly, whether owners believe this or not, out of frustration, sometimes they lose their way, but people crave discipline. It's different than when we were kids. You can't smack them or holler at them, but people want to know what good and bad is, what right and wrong is, and they want to know if they achieve or succeed. So defining those standards of performance to hold that strategic resource, those personnel, accountable to a financial and operational result is critical.
So we want to understand, we know what it costs to generate $1 in revenue and how we make money. We want to be able to hold everybody accountable to financially and operationally executing our defined plan. And we want this group of people, so you don't have to do everything, to have the tools and the training to hold every asset and person in your company accountable to what you should be getting to succeed in your business. If we know what we do and how we do it, and we know how we're going to manage it, are the systems in place to keep it under control so that everyone who works here knows what good is forced to repeat good, and has to correct bad. Okay? And that these people who work for you work as a real team. We have real good morale, strong work ethic and effort, and good communication. That doesn't mean we walk by each other in the hallway and say hello. It means when something works, we teach it to everybody. When something doesn't work, we don't throw darts. We say, hey, here's what went wrong. If we have to redo that, let's make sure we don't make that mistake a second time. So the teamwork and the morale and work ethic in your company has to make the culture strong. And that starts by ownership having good leadership, good decision making, and being transparent with their people so people want to follow. So we got an issue now where most of our clients are going to be walking into how many people were they able to keep when they reopen, right? The people that they want to bring back, If they're making unemployment plus 600, do they want to come back? So we got to make sure that the culture is what we want it to be, so people do want to work here. And it's a culture of excellence, not ambivalence, okay? So if we're looking at the strategic resources that cost us money every day, we want to get the most out of our personnel. The next thing is every company has to have assets, whether it's the owner had to put cash in to get the business started, whether the owner has to have a list of accounts receivable that has to go out and collect, whether he has to buy inventory or materials, pay for the rent on his building, pay for his trucks, his equipment, his tools. These assets are supposed to be a tool that generates equity and wealth. If your company has built up equity and wealth, then this COVID virus didn't affect you. You built up a war chest of cash. If it didn't, were your assets generating what they should have, or frankly, were you running on debt? If you're living in your line of credit, that group of management is supposed to make those assets and those people generate equity for you. If they're not, you got a bad plan, you got the bad people, or you didn't hold them accountable. I would start with you didn't hold them accountable, because everything that works is because of you. Everything that doesn't work has to be your responsibility. If we're going to define what our minimal acceptable standard of performance is, and we're going to know what it costs to generate $1 in revenue, we're going to put the controls in place to meet or exceed our gross profit standards, and we're going to tell the operations, go execute what I just defined. Okay, go get me to work on the input side of the business, go get that work done on the throughput side of the business, and get me paid. Then we need to have a group of managers who holds everybody accountable to doing this. And the tools, those reporting tools, in the old days, it could have been a carpenter's pencil and a piece of paper in your pocket that says how many yards, tons, pounds that we poured that day. You could use QuickBooks, you could use Excel, but those tools, those reporting tools are not just your balance sheet or your P&L. Those are residual, after-the-fact autopsy reports. We're talking about flash reports that are timely and accurate, that this group of management can report up to you to tell you that every day we're meeting our operational and financial standard, and they can respond to that data and say, good job, it's working, keep it up, attaboy, I'm proud of you. It's not working, fix it now. If it's not working now, communicate what went wrong, so that the next time we go to do that type of job, we don't make the same mistake a second time. And if we're executing our defined plan, we'll hit our profit plan. If we're hitting our profit plan, we have the ability to have an incentive-based pay plan to make people want to dance for their dollar. So a closed-loop system of management can work in any company. It starts with these 6 basic areas in every business, and you have to drill down on putting in the controls for each strategic and tactical area. Again, if this tool is helpful for you, please implement it. If it's something you need help with, you want to take your company apart, make sure it's done appropriately, feel free to call us. So stick around. The next video takes the work that we've done in this closed-loop system of management and ties it to what really matters, cash and profit. And just as importantly in today's economic climate, sales growth. So in every business, we use these tools to go into the next segment, which is how to increase profitability, ease operations, make the company cash strong, and proactively grow sales.
Okay, folks, as always, the closed loop management system is extraordinarily effective if you want to improve the profitability of your business. It is really about accountability throughout your entire organization with direction, discipline, timelines. It's really about accountability, but it's not a simple process. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a shout anytime, 800-743-0410, to speak to one of our professionals. It might be me, I'm the least professional, might be Chris, might be Mike Lockey, our survey director, our consulting director, but you get to speak to a real live person. It's not like calling a bank and hearing a machine recording go around and around and around and around.
So, hey dude, we've done this since I can remember. I'm gonna challenge something you just said and add a separate thought to it. You said it's not a simple process. There's a caveat there. It's not a simple process to develop and design. It's a simple process to implement. So I think I don't want to confuse people. Closed loop is simple to understand and execute. It's just not simple to develop and design.
Yeah, and I think that people get stuck in their own ways. So when they hear potentially fancy phrases, 1 and 2 tier, closed loop, predetermined profit, they become buzzwords or phrases that they're sort of like, well, it's probably more effort than it might be worth. And my position is What makes it difficult is that you sort of have to change your mindset on what you want to accomplish out of your business. And the reason we have such great buy-in from employees is because employees get to see that everybody can win when you do this right. So we are all about protecting ownership and building ownership wealth, but the way to do that is for everybody to win. And closed loop management with predetermined profit tied together with pay for performance is the answer. And it's not simple because it requires that discipline to develop, design, and implement, right? It's never easy. Okay, so remember, click subscribe and ring the bell to get notified when we release the next video. We're here for you. We like to continue to work with you.
Beautiful.